All right. Welcome into this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. Corey Moen, Evan Byrne. Evan, how we doing?
Not too bad. After watching those last two games, it could be better.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah. You got that right. Goodness, those games were not fun to. Those last two games were not fun to watch. But here's what I will say: the game on Monday.
That was fun to watch.
That was 1,000% fun to watch. Okay, that was one of those games where the vibes in the city of Milwaukee were immaculate. In case you guys missed it, the Milwaukee Bucks played against the Los Angeles Clippers on Monday night and were able to pull off a comeback victory
without Giannis.
Without Giannis, yeah, that's the craziest part is that at one point they were down as many as 15.
Late in the game, like third quarter, early fourth quarter,
and then all of a sudden they went on a hot streak in the fourth quarter. They scored 40 fourth quarter points. I believe the Clippers scored 25.
Yep. Yeah, the the third quarter 26, fourth quarter 25. So held them low.
Yeah, and looking at the box scores, outside of James Harden and Paul George, the Clippers didn't have a lot of contributors. Okay, and I think for them, this is where the loss of Russell Westbrook really hurts because they're down a playmaker. Like, keep in mind, too, is that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, for the most part, have been healthy this year. But, the loss of Russell Westbrook, that really hurts them because, realistically, how many playmakers do they have left? Okay, they got Norman Powell. All right, they got, I'm just thinking of their bench players off the top of my head. They got Terrence Mann. Okay, they got Amir Coffey. But I just don't know how many guys that they have that are that would scare you outside of those 3 or 4 guys.
Correct. Even Norman Powell's he's a bucket, but he's not Norman Powell. It's not as intimidating as the name Russell Westbrook.
Well, I gotta admit, I am kind of scared of facing off against. Now that I'm kind of glad Norman Powell's out of our conference because against Milwaukee, he's always a bucket.
Yeah, he's a Bucks killer.
He absolutely is. And watching that game, okay, and the first of all, this is kind of how far Milwaukee's come, is that in the Adrian Griffin era, when either Lillard are out or Giannis are out, this team will get destroyed. And that's no hyperbole. They would legitimately forgot how to play basketball without those two guys out there. It just wasn't very coherent. But how far Milwaukee's come where it's okay, we can miss a Giannis game or we can miss a Damian Lillard game and the team's gonna still perform the same. And keep in mind too, we've been doing this. We went on this little 6-game run without Chris Middleton being in the lineup. He's been out. He's missed the past, 9, 10, 11 games.
Yeah, since they played the Suns.
Due to an ankle sprain. And I think this is one of those things where people are going to be concerned, but at the same time, with Chris Middleton's injury history, it's not one of those things where it's you got to rush him back to get him hurt again. And look, people are going to be like, Chris Middleton's made of glass. But look, ankle sprains take time to heal. Okay? Like someone said on Twitter the other day, every sprain is different. Okay? And while I didn't think Middleton would be out this long, okay, maybe his recovery time for the ankle sprain isn't as, maybe it's not healing as quickly as he wants it to. So, I'm sure he wants to be out there, but at the same time, you don't want to just put a guy out there before he's healthy because at the end of the day, he's going to be one of the guys we need to win a championship.
Yeah, it's better not to rush it. Yeah, I double checked. It was February 6th, so it's already been over a month, which is kind of crazy how time is flying by. But yeah, been over a month, and it sucks because it was an inadvertent injury. It wasn't like he did it to himself or they
Mm-mm.
rushed some other injury back. It was the Kevin Durant ankle kind of sticking out or the foot sticking out. But yeah, it always sucks because he just came back and he was kind of cooking.
He was, but you know what? I think it is kind of weird though because Doc Rivers said if this were a playoff series, he'd be playing. But then I'm thinking, all right, well then how come he's
Then how
the other part of me is why is he not out there right now? If
Even-
I think if Doc would have just said, look, his ankle's not ready. If it's the playoffs, he probably still wouldn't be ready. Like I wouldn't have said if I were Doc Rivers, I probably wouldn't have used those words because it's just like
makes it seem like he can play at an intense level at the playoffs, but he can't play a regular season game.
yeah. Well, it also makes it seem like it's a minor injury where it's like he's gonna
Uh-huh.
miss a few games and then he'll be back. But almost missing over a month, this makes it seem like it's kind of more serious than we originally thought, and they're probably just waiting for it to heal. Or it could be that hey, we signed this guy to kind of a big contract over the summer. We trust this guy. We want to make sure that he's 100% healthy before he gets back out there. So, I mean, that's the only part that I would question. But look, I think Doc Rivers has this team playing with a sense of urgency. They're talking more defensively, and it feels like they're playing well together. And look, the other part that the other person I give credit to this run is Patrick Beverley, because he adds a sense of just that tenacity that this team I think were missing earlier in the season.
Yeah, and he's like one of those guys like I don't know, like PJ Tucker that they got the finals run. I know I've mentioned it before, but it's one of those guys you get for defense, but when he can score a few times, it's always beneficial. But I just had the box score up. Yeah, I mean 3 3-pointers. I know 2 of them were kind of late in the game. I don't remember if it was fourth quarter, like when they were making that run, but I feel like defensive side when he does make a bucket, I feel like it's at the times where it's most beneficial. But yeah, looking at him because when you have a starting lineup of Jay Crowder, Patrick Beverley, Lillard, and Malik Beasley, and then you have Brook Lopez, it's like, sure, Jay Crowder is considered a power forward, but the height is kind of considered more guard-like. So going out with technically like 4 guards and a center and still being able to kind of pull it off was a good game to play. But I think the biggest contribution, obviously, you have Damian Lillard 41, but I think my MVP was Bobby Portis. 28 points, 16 rebounds, 12 for 18 shooting, couple threes. Dude was on fire, especially after we've been kind of cooking him as of recently. But again, that was our goal to kind of get them back going after the All-Star break. And yeah, he stepped up a lot, even in their losses.
Yeah, and like there's been a lot of discourse over like the past year or two to trade Bobby Portis to get whatever he can back for him, but it's one of those things where it's like Bobby Portis, he could provide that scoring off the bench. If they were to trade Bobby Portis, it's just like, well, who else do they have left? Okay, Gallinari, he hasn't really provided us with anything, to be quite honest with you.
Nothing on the scoring end. Pat.
No, he did have that putback dunk against the Clippers.
He did. But yeah, the big thing was Pat Connaughton. He had a really good game against the Lakers. It just kind of sucks that they lost that one, but I feel like he's gotten a little better too. He's not going 1 for 5 shooting. He's taking less shots but making more.
I'm telling you, it's ever since he got engaged, he's been playing a lot better.
Engaged Pat.
And here's the thing, and I'm not serious with that, but it is one of those things where it's like, okay, earlier in the season before he got engaged, okay, he didn't play well. Now after he got engaged, he's probably like a lot happier. Maybe the stress of asking his girlfriend to marry him, maybe that got into his mind, and all of a sudden he's playing better basketball. I mean, I mean, and here's the thing. My brother thought it was ridiculous when I said that, but it's like, dude, like, well, okay, well, imagine if they get married and then like a year or two later, they have a kid.
I
He's
think
gonna be
she is pregnant, if I'm not mistaken.
okay. See, now he's gonna be putting up
Well,
prime Giannis
now
numbers.
he's going to
All
drop
right,
in the finals.
I'm just saying. You know what? He could and again, like you said, he played really good yesterday against the Lakers. He made a big time three. Okay, he had a nice little reverse layup, kind of at the end of the game there. So Pat's been playing a lot better. The two Pats have been playing really good for Milwaukee.
Yes. Yep. I just kind of looking over from that one. I know it was mainly in the fourth quarter when they had that big run, but uh, overall, you got decent minutes from everyone who played. Again, still no Andre Jackson Jr., which I'm still a little upset with, but AJ Green came in 22 points, not 22 points, 22 minutes, 6 points. You got Pat, 8 points. The bench, wasn't big scoring because you got Bobby dropping 28, but the only thing was Malik Beasley that frustrated me the most. Dude could not make a three to save his life. I was like, stop shooting, and he kept shooting. Finally, that one went in, then just kind of sprung a run, I think, after that one.
Okay. Oh, that's a good person to remind me of. AJ Green had a massive three that I think almost burned the city of Milwaukee down. Like that thing, like the whole city exploded after AJ Green made that three. It was crazy. It was crazy. And apparently, Patrick Beverly on the Pat Bev pod gave a little praise to AJ Green, where it was like, apparently those two have been going to church together. I'm not even making that up.
Interesting.
Apparently, after Patrick Beverly got traded, AJ Green hit him up. He was like, "Hey Pat, if you want to know where any good churches in the Milwaukee area, just I'll hook you up. I'll let you know." So you know what? God's been helping make AJ Green a better basketball player. I'm just saying. Okay.
All right, I was gonna text you this when it happened, but I figured I would save it for this. So when I was working the last regular season game for the Panthers, so that would have been March 2nd. And there's been a couple games where like Marjan has stopped at the games because he knows one of the players on the Panthers. And then before the game started for this last one, there were rumors that Lillard, Bobby Portis, and AJ Green were gonna show up at the game. I'm like, no way, all three of those guys show up to this UW Milwaukee Panthers game. And I'm standing right by courtside, and I'm standing about to go on the court, and AJ Green is sitting right there. I'm like, no way, there's AJ Green. Like, he's my favorite guy. Like, thinking that I had like, holy shit, dude, he's standing right next to me. And I look to our mascot Pounce. I'm like, dude, right behind me is AJ Green. And like looked, and then he like tapped him on the shoulder. So then AJ Green had to look at me. So dapped him up, nothing too crazy. Just kind of low key met AJ Green the other day.
That's crazy. You dapped up AJ Green?
Yep.
Goodness.
I told him he was my favorite player.
I
had to take the shot. He looked at me. We made eye contact. I wasn't going to say anything had our mascot not said anything. Otherwise, I would have like let it be. But I'm like, come on, I got to do it.
I screwed one of those up one time. I in like a Menards. I forgot where it was, but I had a friend who we were both like massive sports fans. This is like back in middle school. We were both massive sports fans. And I was like in 7th grade. And he took me to like John Lewis was doing like an autograph signing. And like Menards or something like that. It was like some like run in the mill store. There was nobody. First of all, there was nobody there. Okay, there was nobody there. There was like maybe like 2 or 3 people in line, but John Lewis was doing like an autograph signing there. And I walk up to him, and I was like, "My brother is your favorite player." So, and he played it off really well. He was like, yeah, thanks. I like his game." So, I was like, because keep in mind, I'm in 7th grade. I did not, I didn't, I've always kind of now I've been struggling to formulate sentences, but I've struggled to like say it in the correct form. And yeah, he's still signed by card, still signed by photo. But I was like, at least he said the right words, because it's not often you get to meet like a member of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
What would your reaction have been if Damian Lillard came to the game?
That I was looking the whole time for this dude, because like AJ Green is like not the flashy like all-star like superstar kind of player. Like he just like looked like a regular dude sitting courtside. I mean, you would have known if Damian Lillard walked in or Bobby Portis walked in. So I was looking the whole time, but if that was in that situation, I would have fainted.
Like, it's one thing to meet AJ Green, right? You could kind of play that off really, really well. But then you go to like Damian Lillard and Bobby Portis, you're just like,
holy shit!
It's like, like I would say that, and again, you're around like Brewers players every day, meeting like, and there's a difference of like the level of fame there. Like, all right, not many NBA people would know who AJ Green are. Maybe like diehard Bucks fans would, or any general Bucks fans probably would know who he is. But all right. Like, casual NBA fans would not know who AJ Green is. No. So you can play that off really well. But, okay, Damian Lillard and Bobby Portis are like, oh shit. Like, and if they get noticed, then you're going to have to deal with like a crowd of people that want to meet them.
Correct.
And I don't even know how many people even go to Panthers games.
I think the last game we probably had like 2,000, roughly.
Okay. And I mean, Giannis has never been to a Panthers game, has he?
No.
All right.
We had Marjan was the only one in the two of them, and then AJ Green.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I think the really famous like Bucks players, they know they can't really show up to events like that, or else. Because here's the thing, people don't really treat celebrities or basketball players like normal people. Like 100 people want to say something to him. So I don't know. Like, just think about how many fans are like waiting outside for Damian Lillard to come to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm. Thousands of them.
Yeah. See, so that's why I don't really want to. That's why that's why I would never like willingly go to one of those events, because
you know what you get yourself into.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm going out there for nothing. And that's why, like, I don't. This might be a hot take here. I don't even know even if I lived in the Milwaukee area, I don't even think I'd go to the parade, if I'm being honest here. Like, I don't. That's not really that's not my scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to stand out there for what, like 3 hours? 3 or 4 hours just to, like, I love the fact that they won a championship, but at the same time, I would not willingly just stand out there.
Yeah, I waited for the parade, and then right after that, I left. Didn't listen to all the speeches. I'm like, that would have, you're standing around for too long then.
No, because because here's the problem with the speeches. Is like, I'm not saying
they're all just drunk.
Well, PJ Tucker had a hell of a time at the ceremony, but okay, yeah, they're drunk. But it's also one of those things where it's like, okay, you get the governor of the state coming up, okay, then you get the governor of the city, and then you get the owners, and then you get the 15th guy off the bench has to say a few words, and then it's just like I'm trying to remember what happened. Did every player give a speech?
I know the majority of them did. I don't know if everyone did. I don't think they got Axel Tupain to give a speech or.
No, see how they did that is like they split it up. So like they split it up between like I remember it was like Sam Merrill, like Justin Jackson, and all those guys. All those guys gave speeches, but then, then like then you get the other guys, and you move up to the starters, and it's just it's a lot. It's a lot. So. Sorry, we went off on this tangent. Moving on to the next game, we have to talk about this. The Bucks played against the Warriors the other night. They lost 125-90. Steph went off. Kaminga had a good game. I mean, like it's tough playing Golden State. Okay, I think we all know that. We're all aware of that.
Yeah, mentioned that the last one. It's like you never know. It's Golden State. You never know what Curry's going to do. It's yeah, and we
And
happen to have that game.
the last 3 years, I believe they've lost against the Warriors in Golden
Yeah,
State.
never can beat them.
No, well, not there. Jesus.
Yep.
And then Klay Thompson turns into prime Klay Thompson. Like, it. Yeah, I'm trying to remember too. When was the last time we beat Golden State in Golden State? It's been maybe since 2021, I'd say.
Yeah, I remember the game. I don't remember what year that was. Yeah, too long. That's all.
Yeah, it's been about 3 years. Because I'll say this: last year's game was like a lot better than this year's game. Because this year's game, it wasn't even close from the tip off.
Yeah, and I know because the game before for the Warriors, they got blown out by Boston by like 55 points. And it's funny because I couldn't watch this game, so I just had to see some highlights. But I noticed the game that they lost to Boston, they only scored 88 points, I think, and they had 78 by halftime. And what's even worse to say is that the game that the Bucks played against the Hornets, where like they held them like 10 points to the second quarter, like, oh, that's like the lowest this season that someone scored in a quarter, and then the Bucks decided to score 9 in the fourth quarter. toot our own horn on that one, but yeah, it was like they got it to like 2 points and then they lose by 35. It's like, what just happened? You're holding the 15 points in the third quarter, but it doesn't matter because they already did the most damage in the first half already. So now you're trying to dig your way back.
Yeah, and I believe Giannis came back for this game. Lillard played, so
Yeah, they had a full team. Everyone played.
but like, and we'll kind of get into this when in the game against the Lakers, it was just the defense wasn't where it needed to be.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah.
Past 5 or 6 games, the defense was like lockdown, but especially in this game against the Warriors. Okay. And honestly, we could just move on to the Lakers because, like, what more can I say about Milwaukee losing 125-90? There's really not much I can add to this.
Yep, their bench was atrocious. Their high, obviously, again, we'll throw in Bobby Portis, the only good bench player, but you have Pat Bev, 17 minutes, 2 points off free throws. Pat, 22 minutes, 6 points. AJ Green, 0 for 5 on threes, 2 points. You weren't getting any production there. You weren't getting production from Malik Beasley, from Brook Lopez. Yeah, it was no one was scoring besides Giannis and Lillard, and they only had 20 and 23, so it's not like they had a huge contribution.
Yeah, so let's just move on to the next game. I
Moving
can't even.
on to-
I was disgusted. I don't even want to add any more to this. So
Another fun game.
Friday night game against the LA Lakers. LeBron did not play. So I want to keep that in perspective. LeBron did not play in this game. Giannis played, Lillard played, everybody from Milwaukee played outside of like Chris Middleton.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of those games where Milwaukee had to win. I'm not saying it was a must-win game, but
It would have been nice to bounce back.
we're on a tough road trip right now. Okay, and it would have been like a nice little. And it would have been a nice little bounce back game to beat the Warriors, but unfortunately, it did not happen. I'm sorry, the Lakers. I believe we lost 118-117. Was that the final score?
123, 122.
Oh, yikes. I am a little off. But, again, yeah, it would have been nice to win that game. So, what was your reaction to watching the game against the Lakers?
It was just D'Angelo Russell. They just kept letting him shoot. Took 25 shots, made 17 of them. Dude had 9, only missed 3 3-pointers. It's like they kept him open the whole game. I felt like every time the ball was in his hands, I felt like he was going to shoot it. And I mean, I'm a big D'Angelo Russell fan. I was a big fan of him when he was on the Nets. I was talking about that with my friend last night, but that was 6 years ago already. So it's not like he's still wasn't really a superstar, but he hasn't been the best, I guess, in the last recent years. But yeah, letting him have his second highest scoring game on the Lakers. It's never fun when it's against the Bucks, but yeah, gave up 44 points to him. Anthony Davis had 22, so they just couldn't guard D'Angelo Russell, and they didn't. What am I trying to say? They didn't like play around him, trying to get him to not necessarily force up a shot, but pass it so he doesn't have to shoot. And I just felt like he shot the ball almost every time and made every shot. He was cooking us. That's all I can say. But yeah, let him get the game-winning shot. I guess Bucks, I know, took the lead near the end, and then they had their shot. Bucks had 6 seconds to make a basket. They were only down 1 because they only lost by 1. And then our shot just gets blocked by Spencer Dinwiddie and game over. So it's like a horrible last 30 seconds.
That's what pissed me off even more is the fact that the shot got fucking blocked by Spencer Dinwiddie.
Cool, you shoot it, you miss it. Darn, good try on that. It sucks, but it was literally blocked.
By Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yep, not Roy Hachimura, not Anthony Davis.
I hate Spencer. I honestly hate Spencer Dinwiddie.
He had no contribution in that game except the block. He had 5 points.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's what made me mad is the fact that Spencer Dinwiddie blocked that shot. But I don't know. I mean, look, they put good enough in the first half, and they made some shots down the stretch. Lillard had a big three. Connaughton had a big three down the stretch, but they were up 117 to 112. Then they let Rui Hachimura get a three.
Correct.
So
yeah, they were up late with a deep, not like a big lead, but a good 2-possession, almost 3-possession game, and then they're giving up shots to guys who should not be, I guess, making these late in the game. Sure, Rui Hachimura can make a 3 here or there, but if that's going to be the deciding factor on his 1 3-pointer that whole game out of the 6 that he took, it's pretty much self-explanatory from there.
And I mean, I just don't know. As I kind of look at this game, right? It was just, and we talked about this before the podcast even started, where it was D'Angelo Russell was playing good the whole game. That final shot, why didn't they just run 2 guys at him? That was my question.
Yeah, especially when you're only up 1 point. It's like any basket will do it. It's like it tied the game. Or they were down, and it was that was the go-ahead bucket, and nothing else went from there, which is unfortunate.
True. I mean, and here's the thing. I was pretty mad after the game was over yesterday because especially on the road, you got to win games like that.
Yeah, and especially with this week where it's it was cool to beat the Clippers without Giannis, but to lose then to the Warriors and the Lakers in very unfortunate ways. It's I would rather trade the 1 cool win for 2, obvious wins. Yeah. But I won't say obvious wins, but higher chances to beat the Lakers and the Warriors based off how they've been playing this season to the Clippers without your star player.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to add. I mean, Austin Reeves, I guess, for them had a good game. 122.
Yeah, I just felt like they were always trying to play from behind, and they would get it close, and then they would go on another run. They would get it close, and then it's back to 8 points. But yeah, they finally got the go-ahead shot, a couple go-ahead shots in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, last few minutes, and then, just kind of fell apart.
And as I'm looking at the stats, too, it was Davis 22, Russell 44, Reeves 18, Hachimura 12. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. That was it. That's a game you got to win. That's a game you especially got to win. And, you get Connaughton with 17, Bobby Portis with 14, Beasley with 14. So just one of those games where it's you got to win.
Yep.
You got to win a game like that.
Yeah, I hate these ones because it's the it was one shot that just kind of lost it for him essentially, or the one missed free throw that Giannis could have. It's like all those nitpicky things that you have where that could have been the deciding factor, and then you just lose by 1 point.
Yeah. So, and then shout out Daniil Gallinari for not scoring 8 points. Shout out
Yep.
Patrick Beverley for not contributing anything other than cardio. So,
Yeah, he literally didn't do anything except foul. He had no stats.
well, you know what? Maybe that's what we need him for. So, did we have any other news this week? I didn't see anything that really tripped my trigger.
No, not that I've seen. Just again, a lot of people posting about when the Bucks lose to unfortunate ways and not winning, but that's cool. But yeah, otherwise, I didn't see anything else.
I didn't either. So do you have anything else?
No, got another tough. Again, the whole month of March, I remember us saying was tough. But next game is against tomorrow. You got the afternoon game against the Clippers away. So hopefully, again, have another win against the Clippers. Then you go up to the Kings for our last 9 o'clock game. But yeah, then you have a quick little stint of where did it go? Yeah, the Sixers and the Suns, both home games this week. So we got Clippers tomorrow, Kings Tuesday, Sixers Thursday, and the Suns Sunday. And then Boston.
Yep. So, all right. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.